Before we take the derivative of this function, my advice to you is anytime you see a radical sign, like a square root sign, let's rewrite this as a power. So you want to rewrite it so it has an exponent or a power and use the power rule instead. So I can rewrite the square root of 2x squared plus 1 as 2x squared plus 1 raised to the 1/2 power. So let's go ahead and rewrite this function before we take the derivative. So let's rewrite that as 3 times 2x squared plus 1 raised to the 1/2 power. Now let's take the derivative using the constant rule and the power rule, and then here we're going to also have to use the chain rule. So the derivative of 15 is 0, and then here, when we take a look at that second term, we're going to have to use the chain rule. So if you recall, the chain rule is what we use when we have a composite function. So what I'm shading in red here is the outside function. So we have to take the derivative of the outside part. And then after we do that, we're going to then take the derivative of the inside part of the function. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the derivative of the outside using the power rule. So that's 3 times 1/2 times 2x squared plus 1 raised to the 1/2 minus 1. So I'm going to subtract 2 over 2. And then now I have to take the derivative of the inside part. So the derivative of the inside part is at 2x squared plus 1. So let's use the power rule for 2x squared. So that's 2 times x to the 2 minus 1. And then the derivative of 1 is just 0. Let's clean this up. So negative 3 times 1/2 is negative 3 over 2 times 2x squared plus 1. 1/2 minus 2 over 2, that's negative 1/2. Here we've got 2 times 2, which is 4, and then x to the 2 minus 1 is just x to the first power. Now let's rewrite this part of our answer so we have a positive exponent. So to do that, that's going to be 1 over 2x squared plus 1 to the positive 1/2 power times 4x. And this 4x, I'm going to also write it as a fraction by simply putting it over 1. And then now what I'm going to also do with this term right here is I'm going to go ahead and rewrite the denominator. Instead of raising it to the 1/2 power, I'm going to rewrite it using that radical sign, okay? So I've got negative 3 halves times 1 over the square root of 2x squared plus 1 times 4x over 1. And then now, guys, let's just multiply these three fractions together by multiplying the numerator. So I've got negative 3 times 1 times 4x is negative 12x. And then let's multiply the denominator. So 2 times the square root of 2x squared plus 1. Oh, and I just noticed that I can simplify 12 and 2 by dividing by 2. And so that gives me negative 6x over the square root of 2x squared plus 1, and that is our final answer.